7 o'clock, so we're going to begin.
We got it. Thanks, Rob.
So Jen is there, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Good, thank you. So what we're going to do tonight is at a time definite or thereabouts, 7:20, we'll go on to the public hearing portion. Before that, we're going to take up some items, but we won't run past about the time Deb shows up in attendance. So the first item on the agenda is the introduction of the interim planning consultant, Denise McClure. And Denise, if you'd care to speak at any time, please feel to do so. I will say that Denise comes to us with a breadth of knowledge and experience that's going to be very beneficial to us. So I think it's going to work out very, very well. So Denise, you've got any comments?
No, and hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes,
I have an
indeed.
interesting speaker situation going on here, Mike, so I'm glad you can. No, I'm just thrilled to be here. I know all the planning board members have seen my background, and I have extensive experience with planning boards, so I am happy to start this process with you all and provide as much support as I possibly can.
And we've found it very easy to work with Denise and stay in touch with her, so that's a big plus. So I'll move on to the second item, which is I think, Jen, this is where you're going to report to us where we stand with the AG on certain matters that were taken up at town meeting.
Sure. Yeah. So I spoke with the town clerk, Amanda, with regards to where some of our bylaws stand and everything. So she provided me last week, this was in your packet, with this memo from the Attorney General regarding their acceptance of warrant article 9 and 11 from fall town meeting. To refresh everybody's memory, the warrant article 9 was the MBTA overlay, and the warrant article 11 had to do with omitting the capital improvements committee. So the AG's office accepted everything. She posts these in a public location, she said. And then, so for our Springtown meeting, if you remember, the prohibition item was a very rushed item to get on the warrant. And unfortunately, we didn't meet certain, let me see, certain deadlines. So with that in mind, the Attorney General's office is giving us a way to do the notice sort of after the fact. And so this is the memo I got from Amanda today, just to give us an update. Essentially, she has posted a notice regarding the prohibition at town hall yesterday. And then it's scheduled to be published in the Newburyport Daily News tomorrow, and it's got to go for 2 weeks. And during that time, any West Newbury resident, property owner, or other party entitled to notice of the planning board hearing may file a written statement with the town clerk's office within 20 days of publication of that notice, claiming that the notice defect was misleading or otherwise prejudicial. And then after that expires, Amanda will submit the required documentation to the Attorney General's office. And then their 90-day review period will then resume. And if no claim is filed, the Attorney General has discretion to waive the identified defect.
So there is a manner to correct the deficiencies in the notices that occurred regarding these articles. One of them was the one that was deficient. The other was just tied up in this because it's related to it. I think the planning board was fine. The exclusion was the one where the defect existed. Is that true?
It was the notice being posted at the town offices. It didn't get posted within the 14-day time period ahead of
Right.
the meeting. Yeah.
Right, but not both of them, just one of them, but they're related, so they're holding up both.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a means to correct and Amanda's on top of it.
Yes.
Right, so we'll have to let this play out. Okay, any questions or comments on that? Hearing none. You've got a draft planning board annual report, way ahead of schedule, so thank you very much.
You
Have
are
people had a chance,
welcome.
have people had a chance to look at that?
Yes. But
Excuse
we-
me?
Yeah, yes. I mean, we can certainly discuss it here. We got plenty of time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's
Um,
discuss.
Can we make the font a little bit larger, perhaps for others?
So people can read it on the screen?
Yes. That's good for me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Is that large enough?
It just went back smaller again.
Yep, right, but at least it was, yeah, so great. Good, 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 good. Keep going. Excellent. Brian, say when.
No, I think it's fine, but
Good, okay. So let's discuss.
I just want to say I highlighted the 15 because I wasn't entirely sure I remembered it being 15, but the agendas left it as a blank number on Rogers Street. So that's just a reminder for me to go check that out.
Okay,
yeah, had that maybe, I'm trying to think of which one that was. I wonder if that number had been assigned. I guess it must have. That was the Hayden, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it was, and it was created from an existing lot, so it may not have been assigned at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we give a parcel number in that case, just to clarify what it is.
Yeah,
So you-
I can confirm 15 Rogers Street is correct.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
I can't confirm 15 Bachelor Street, which is also highlighted.
Hmm.
That just might have gotten caught up in my highlighting.
right,
Okay.
right. That thing probably doesn't have an address, I would guess.
Know that it does.
So,
And I'll just say, I mean, we've seen this before, but we all know where the reduced frontage was on Middle Street, but
Right.
when we see the zero, it's confusing to me and probably to anyone looking at this.
I agree. I think it should be identified by at least a parcel number.
yeah, good
I
idea.
can add that in.
But-
Actually,
yeah.
every single thing here should have a parcel number. Even the pickleball court would have a parcel number, I would suspect. So what, and I think, you know, Major Boyd Drive, I don't think you need to do anything there. That's entire street, so people should be familiar with that. But when we get into, like you're saying, 0 Middle Street, better to have a more specific reference to it if possible.
Yeah, I can add those.
15 Rogers Street probably suffices because it's a specific place.
If it matters to you, it's R15-79,
Which one, Ray?
0 Middle Street,
Thank you.
R15-79.
So I suspect we can get these into real good order based upon what we've mentioned to Jen, because Jen does a good job at stuff like this. I don't know that I've confirmed the 7 AR and A and R plan endorsements. You know, in some ways, let's make sure that we've covered everything, whatever the address is, let's make sure we've covered everything that came before us. However, we're going to refer to it.
Sure thing.
Does that look good?
Could we continue down the page a little bit? I
Yep.
made a note about something on page 2. And I can't remember what it was unless I see it again. Hopefully that'll jog my memory. Can you keep going down there? I think it was just formatting. There again, you'll clean
Yeah,
it
there
up.
it is. Yep.
There are a few of
Right
those
there.
things.
Right.
Yeah, just general, all that stuff. You'll figure it out.
So anything else in this that someone wants to comment on, especially making sure we haven't left anything out that we actually worked on? You might want to go back up to the middle,
Mm.
right?
Jen, is it the case that you generally sort of go through the minutes in order to pull these together?
Yeah, I went through the agenda and the minutes and went
Great.
through the old a couple of the older annual reports and put it together.
Yeah,
Thank
and I want to thank you for doing that, because normally in the past, this is prepared by the planner in residence, and we did not have one since sometime in March. And so, yes, I appreciate your diligence there, Jen.
You're welcome.
Here,
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of the notes that are always very comprehensive.
Mhm.
Okay, so are we going to want to do a second reading of this, or is this going to be ready for publication once Jen has done what you all have mentioned?
When's it due?
Oh, it's,
September 18th.
yeah. You want to see it again next meeting?
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Yeah, take a few minutes, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we'll take a few minutes. Great, excellent. Very cool. We're good on this item then.
Yes.
Okay, so upcoming meeting dates announcement. So for those in attendance, it's also at the bottom of our agenda. September is not a typical month. There's a primary election. I think November will have the same thing. Next month, what we've decided to do in September is our first meeting will be on the 8th, which is the second Tuesday of the month. And then following that, 2 weeks later, the meeting will be on September 22nd. So our schedule is different in September than is typical the rest of the year. November has the same issue going on. Elections being on a Tuesday, sometimes they interfere with our meeting schedule. And there's a prohibition of against having hearings on election day.
Yeah,
So
it's
we're at
a state prohibition.
state
not
prohibition.
not
That's right.
necessarily our bylaws.
That's not our bylaw, it's a
Yeah.
state. And it exists for some reason, probably a good one. So with the few minutes, do you want to attend to minutes? Begin minutes?
Sure. Let's take
Sure.
a look.
We're going to break away as soon as Deb's seated. The idea being that we want to have people aware of when it starts and start as close to that time as is possible.
Again, can we expand those a bit, please?
Yes,
I've read through
Oh,
them.
oh,
That's too much.
wait, no,
No,
no.
not
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
the Goldilocks size, please.
There you go.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we go by this page by page. So on the first page, people having comments, notations, whatever,
Somebody has raised their hand, Carl Mosley, if any,
about minutes?
I guess I just got a little notification. Maybe they
I
just were
did.
testing the button.
I did too, and it went away.
Okay,
Okay.
let's all agree that what we're doing now is not the public hearing, so I'd like to continue with the minutes while we have them in front of us. So anyways, page by page, anything on the first page that anybody sees that they would like to clarify, change?
Oh,
Oh, well said.
So we'll go on the second page. Anything on the second page? Okay, come on. Nothing?
let's
I'm
do-
here, by the way, Rob.
Okay, very good.
shall
Thank
we-
you, Deb.
Can we finish this up?
Yeah, let's finish it up. If we've got nothing on this page, let's go on. Okay, I see adjournment, so we're almost at the end. I would say that the only thing I see is in item E, the formatting's a little bit different than is typical to the rest of the document, and maybe just above it too.
And if we're gonna get picky about format, and item F, second paragraph, while further shouldn't be capitalized.
Well, I don't know, is the guy's name While Further or? No, okay, so bad joke. Yeah, so While Further explained, great. So we'll make that change. Let's do typos if we see them. Those are the easy ones. And then Jen, the formatting on E and I presume D just need to follow the form, you know, the
Yeah.
indentation and all that stuff. So anything else on the minutes?
Move to accept as amended.
Second,
So we'll do a roll call vote.
All in
Right,
favor,
aye.
Ann Bardine, aye.
Ray Cook, aye.
Deb Hamilton, I.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Rob Phillips, aye. It's unanimous. So thank you, Jen. Well done again. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So we're not going to take up another item. What we can do while we're all here is let's just all introduce ourselves. We can do that at any time. It's not part of the public hearing, but it comes right before it. So if we could, maybe I'll start by saying my name is Rob Phillips. I serve as chair of the planning board, and then maybe go through everyone else in alphabetical order, and at the end, make sure that everybody knows about our associate member. So Tim, you have to participate.
Okay, I'll start then. Ann Bardine, planning board member.
Ray Cook, planning board member.
Deb Hamilton, planning board member.
Brian Murphy, planning board member and vice chair.
Right, and Ann serves as
Oh.
clerk,
Correct.
so she's got a title, and she does a lot of work irrespective of what we call her. And Tim?
Tim Cronin, associate member of the planning board.
Okay, great. So we've got 2 minutes before we begin. Myself, I'm content just to wait the 2 minutes. Does anybody else want to take something else up? We've got reports that we can get to if people feel inclined. If you want to run through reports.
Couple of them are usually very quick.
You're
Yeah,
right.
I will say
So
that
it being the summer, Brian, you got anything?
Summer
Yeah,
hiatus for the commissioners.
right,
So,
MVPC, Affordable Housing Trust updates, Deb.
I don't have anything, I'm sorry.
CPC updates.
Nothing to report.
Okay, Town Governance Committee updates.
Nothing to report.
Okay, it being August.
It's August.
It's August. So Jen, Land and Building Administrator updates.
Sure. Just a couple little things. I know there's been some interest in The All Saints Church, the Resettlement Partnership has requested an extension to September 22nd Board of Health meeting pending receiving some comments from DEP. Also, there was a site visit to the Eagles Nest subdivision, also known as 125 River Road, on Monday the 10th. It was attended by our conservation agent, Dan Callahan, the health agent, Paul Savigny, and Chris Ryan from Meridian. From what I've heard from staff members, things appear to be moving along. There's really nothing of concern at the moment.
Okay.
Very good.
So thank you very much. We won't take up board member comments because it's 7:20 and we're going to go into the public hearing. So this being the case,
Yes, I'll make the same request, Jen, for a little bit larger type on my screen since I need to read this.
right.
Does anybody
okay.
else have those red lines on the screen that I cannot figure out how to get rid of?
Yeah. they're
Okay.
there.
I see those.
Okay, is that where you put your coffee down one day or something?
I don't know. They just keep going with the document, so I don't know what's
Oh,
happening
okay.
there.
Wow, okay, yeah, weird. Okay,
All right.
then, so Ann as clerk,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, pursuant to General Law, Chapter 48, Sections 9 and 11, West Newbury zoning bylaw, Sections 9.1 and 11.2, the West Newbury Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 18th, 2026 at 7 p.m. to consider an application for site plan review and special permit for an open space preservation development at 187 Main Street, Assessors Map R2, Parcel 41, in the residential C and B zoning districts, to create the Poppies. 26 residential units are proposed, consisting of 4 single-family structures and 22 duplex structures on 19.6 acres with greater than 60% open space. Owner, the Poppies LLC, 2 Elm Square, Andover, Mass. 01810. Applicant, John T. Sarkis. Manager, the Poppies LLC, 2 Elm Square, Andover, Mass. 01810. To view the plans, visit the link in the ad or contact land.admin@westnewbury.org. Applications can be viewed at the planning office. Interested persons may participate in the meeting by joining from computer, tablet, or smartphone using the link found in the ad or by calling the phone number in the ad.
thank you very much, well done. So this is a legal process, and the vice chair, Brian, has graciously accepted the task of introducing what this process is to those in attendance. So Brian, you have at it.
Good. Thank you, Rob. So this is the typical special permit process. We, the board, and interested parties, listen to the applicant's presentation. Then board members may choose to comment or ask questions. The applicant may answer or may cover in a future meeting. We, the board, then ask for public comment. It could be abutters or other interested parties. We do request your name and address for the record. And concise questions are always helpful. Special permit hearings may take several meetings or several months. Hard to say at this point about this particular hearing. The applicant's drawings and technical information will be reviewed by Planning Board retained engineer, which is Meridian Engineering, and the applicant pays all costs associated with that. Meridian has done a number of these reviews for us over the years for the town, for the board. The review is for zoning and also for engineering compliance under best practices. When the board is ready to vote, the public hearing will be closed. The approval requires a supermajority, and that means that 4 of the 5 members must vote in the affirmative. If a member misses one meeting, they can review and attest to reviewing that meeting and be still eligible to vote. They cannot miss more than one meeting, in which case the alternate would be eligible to vote in their place. And I'm sure I've missed something, but that's the general framework that has guided us for many years.
Just
Right,
to-
I would just add this. This meeting will continue tonight, so it's going to continue on to future meetings. This process involves a number of parties, including other town departments. It includes people reviewing the plans as submitted, commenting back to us, taking up those comments as they come back. So there's a point tonight where we will have basically gone through setting most things in motion, describing most of the tasks that need to be done, but we will not have arrived at a final point. So please just be aware that if you think of something past this meeting, it will still be in session at the next session that we have in September. And the process will continue. So there's time to go through everything. There's time to pay attention to things. One of the things we don't do in this type of meeting is, as Brian mentioned, there will come a time when we'll ask for public comment or questions. That will be done by raising your hand. Someone's already tested that. It does work. And then Ray's going to MC that, bringing those people on. And that's when you would, say who you are and where you live, et cetera. And then get into it. We may comment back, we may ask questions, or we may just note what you said and move on to another person. One of the things we won't do is we will not pay attention to the chat. The chat isn't part of the process. Feel free to do whatever you want in there, but it's not where you get to be recognized. It's not where we would take up anything. So if you do have something to say. Also, the other thing is we've been getting some comments by email, which is great. Those are always appreciated. There's always a timing issue with what we take up. So we got a few in today, and of course, as you might appreciate, those weren't part of the package for tonight. We'll probably show them, but just be aware that it's not possible to have 5 people all free on the same day to look over and see what they think of what's being communicated. So those things will probably be taken up, discussed, reviewed at the next meeting. So just be aware that everything that comes in will be documented, will be saved, will become part of the record, but it may not be taken up at the same day that you send across. It may have to wait for a later meeting. As we go through the process, we'll get closer to knowing when these meetings will be wrapping up. So there'll be adequate notice. No one's going to be surprised about when the vote will happen, but pay attention to that because you want to get your thoughts and comments in a timely fashion. That's the best way I can describe it. So John Sarkis, are you there?
Do you hear me?
Yep.
I can,
Yes.
yeah. So John, you were going to take us through what we're looking at.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Sarkis. I am a real estate developer, have been a real estate developer for about 40 years now, mostly north of Boston, though we do projects south of Boston and west of Boston. Most of what I do is as a principal. That means we usually purchase the real estate ourselves and develop it ourselves. However, we also act as consultants to other developers, other landowners, lending institutions, farmers, and all kinds of other people with an interest in real estate. Sometimes we even represent abutters to other developments. My firm, Sarkis Development, is a member of the Poppies LLC, which is the legal owner of the property at 187 Main Street. We purchased it a little less than a year ago, I think. And I am the managing partner of that entity. With me tonight, I have Bill Brown, who is a landscape architect who participated and directed the initial layout of our proposal. Jay Polakowitz from, let me back up. Bill is from Brown Sardina. He is a principal at Brown Sardina. His firm has done master planning and landscape design, amongst other things, in many, many projects throughout the world. Many in this area that you've seen, and many that you've probably seen on the internet as well. Bill and I have worked together on a number of projects, and he's one of my go-to guys. Also with me is Jay Polakowitz from Hancock Engineering. He is the lead engineer from Hancock, who is responsible for all the technical matters, such as drainage, road profiles, septic designs, things of that nature. He will address those when the time comes. John Luke Sarkis is also with me. He is my son and right-hand man, not my twin. And
Oh, you wish. You wish.
the better looking one.
Yeah.
So he is listening in. And then also with us tonight is Austin Allen, who is a young man learning how to become a real estate developer or builder. He sent us a note and wants to shadow me on a handful of things. So you might see Austin. I would direct all highly technical questions to Austin if we want to have some fun.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I
Yes.
got a question for Mr. Sarkis. I'm capable of zipping through plans back and forth. Did you have a presentation you plan to, do you have a PowerPoint or something where you're going to borrow the screen, Mr. Sarkis?
Correct. I was
Okay.
going to ask to share my screen at some point and begin a quick description of what
Yeah,
we're doing.
and just one thing before you begin, John, because you have the floor for sure. But Jen, if you could just make that a little bit larger so people can see what the application, yeah, exactly, thanks. You know, we're gonna have to get to the point where we automatically go to this view, this size, but thank you, Jen, appreciate it. Okay, John, back to you.
So we have submitted what we believe to be a complete special permit and site plan review application. The chair mentioned that this was a public hearing for special permit, but it is also a public hearing for site plan review, which is the more technical side of the process. And the board most boards typically run these two processes of public hearings concurrently. And the subject matter tonight may go between the two. Some matters may be more related to special permit and others may be more related to site plan review.
Right, and the site plan review and special permit were both mentioned in the notice, the legal notice.
Correct. They've both been advertised accordingly. We've submitted an application for this plan. What we are hoping to do is develop 187 Main Street as an open space preservation development. That means you may have heard of cluster development in the past. That means we are trying to get away from a grid system development, the old subdivision plans that you used to see, where we typically have larger lots and more road frontage, and we grid system out the developable land and burn it all up with houses and driveways. In this case, we believe a better application for development on this site would be to cluster the units tighter to each other and leave open space where we can. It's also a good idea to leave that open space where it benefits the public at large, whether it be aesthetically or usability. When we get to that point, Bill Brown from Brown Sardina will, or now I guess Studio Brown, he will discuss that whole design process that we went through at that point. So with our plan, you will see an overall layout. You will see technical drawings showing where utilities lay. You will see where septic designs lay, where drainage lays. You will see a plan that addresses how we will manage stormwater. You will see elevations of the proposed structures. And all of these will be reviewed during this process. I'm going to share my screen very quickly and then turn it over to Bill. Does that work?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cover page. The site is located on Main Street. I'm sure everybody here is familiar with it. It's on the sort of the southwest end of town, relatively close to the Pentucket School District, on the southeast side of Main Street. As you can see, we have a detailed topo, a base plan here, which Jay will get into at some point, but it shows wetlands, shows topographies, shows locations of the existing buildings, and of course, boundary and abutting property owners. This is a yield plan. Yield plan is required under an open space preservation development to demonstrate how the property might have been developed under conventional zoning, meaning meeting required frontage and acreage per lot to create lots. Jay will discuss this a little bit better when we get to that point. This is a plan showing our developed area of the site. You will see that we have primarily duplex buildings and then 4 single families at the back end of the site. The entire site, this shows approximately half of the site. If you look up at the top, you can see the entire site. All the open space is in gray, is in this gray surrounding the developed area in here. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Bill Brown, who will walk you through our process of how we arrived at this type of a layout versus other layouts that people may have seen during the highly publicized MBTA process that came ahead of us. I'm going to stop sharing. Can someone tell me how to stop sharing? Here we go.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Bill, maybe you want to share.
I can share if that will be of assistance.
John, I don't have the color drawings. I thought that you were going to have those as part of the presentation.
I can do that.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second here.
I had 2 drawings that I had sent you, and I think that we could start with the color drawing first and then go to the more detailed drawing afterwards.
What page might that be?
You wouldn't have this. This is for meeting purposes only.
Got it.
I will share right now again. Is that working?
That's working
Yes.
great. So, well, it's good to be in front of you. I have actually spent, I live in Newburyport, and I lived in a different town before, and I have worked on the Pentucket High and Middle School. So I was the site planner and landscape architect for that project. So I'm very familiar with your town. I have driven Main Street many, many times before I moved to Newburyport and sort of understand the ethos of West Newbury and the colonial architecture, the open space that's associated with Main Street, which includes, homes, some homes that are close to the roadway, some are set back, and there's sort of a green band that sort of runs along Main Street, and it's actually quite beautiful to drive down Main Street. So we took that into consideration when we looked at the development options for the site. And as you know, there is a home and there are some buildings that are actually fairly close to the road. And the notion is that, and because, this is evident in West Newbury, we thought of what we should do is we should take the buildings and move them away from the roadway in order to continue the open space along Main Street. And cluster the buildings essentially at the high point of the site. I think that as you go north on Main Street and you're coming around, you're up the hill and you're coming around the bend, that you'll see two of the duplex units sort of up on the hill with natural vegetation in front of it. The idea architecturally is to make those units especially to look like old farmhouses. And with that, if I was going to buy a unit here, I would actually buy one of those 2 units, because what we are talking about doing is in between those buildings is creating like a kitchen garden and patios in the back. I think it would just be a wonderful place to live. So as you come off of Main Street, there are trees to the north that we're preserving. There's a large beech tree, and there's a poppy field sort of on that corner. We are not developing up to the wetlands in that location. We've been able to resolve the grading so that we're able to preserve the poppy field and to preserve those trees. So the roadway comes in, you rise slightly, you get to a high point between the 2 duplex units right in that location. Each of the buildings or houses has a 2-car garage. So there's a separate driveway for the buildings in the front. And then as you go around, there are driveways in order to access the other units. The buildings that are next, which are to the north, those architecturally are going to look like farmhouses as well. And then the architectural style is colonial as we build out the rest of the duplex units. And then we have 4 singles on the right-hand side. One thing to note is that only 2 of the units have walkouts. So the 2 units in the top front go to the left and go north, John. Sorry, I should be left. Yes. Those 2 to the left are walkout units. The other units, generally, there is 2 to 5 feet of elevation change between the finished floor elevation and the ground. So if you're looking at these from the back, you will not see, in most cases, a 3-story facade. And I think that that's, an advantage to the way this site has been developed. There's 2 wetland basins on the site that are open wetland basins. They'll have natural vegetation, obviously, as part of their seed mix and vegetation. There is a sidewalk that comes in off of Main Street. And it comes in and around the circle and back out. And also as part of the development criteria, we as land planners like to try to limit the use of lawn as much as possible. So there is the area around the site that's shown as being not disturbed. There also is another line that defines a darker vegetation, which will be mowed lawn. And then everything between there and the preserved vegetation is going to be a pasture mix. And we've been actually using pasture mixes more. We have been using wildflower and meadow mixes, and they take a long time to establish. We're patient. We really like it. But some people do get impatient with the establishment of the wildflowers. And what we're recommending here is to do a pasture mix. If you've been to Maudsley and head actually towards the west part of the site and go back to where the old houses are, there's a beautiful meadow there with pasture grasses. And we've done some research into what those pasture grasses are. And we're recommending that we use a seed mix similar to that as a pasture mix. And it could be something that could be cut once a year and actually looks quite nice. So I think that the views coming from Main Street going north, looking across the pasture mix to the farm type houses that are up on the hill is going to be really nice. And then coming south, we're preserving the poppies in that corner, and we're preserving the trees that are there as well. And it'll provide some screening and some context for the property. And then the next plan is a technical plan, which is the landscape plan. And this is a little bit easier to read in terms of the different seed mixes. You can see that the darker stippled area is the pasture grass that we're recommending. And then the area sort of close to the building and along the roadway is the area of mowed lawn. And then all the rest of the site will be undisturbed. At this point, we have a general plant list that we're proposing on the project. I think that based upon our experience, we try not to specifically do a planting plan at this point in time because we don't know what is going to be available whenever we're doing the installation. We're hoping that we can get 2 to 2.5 inch caliper plants that are the straight species of the Acer rubrums and the Quercus bicolor and Tilia cordata, which are the native species, which we're proposing to use on this project. So with that, I can turn it over to John and Jay.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Yes.
So on the screen before that you were showing us,
Yes.
I'm presuming that the trees that you're showing are all existing throughout that John, can you get back to that?
Rob, I'm trying.
Okay.
I don't know how to turn this thing off on the top of my screen.
Okay.
There we go. The color plan you're talking about?
Yep, the so-called color plan. Is that in our offices at all, John?
Nope, not yet.
But you'll get it to us?
Yes.
Yes, good, thank you. So when I'm looking at not the trees at Main Street, but say the trees in the middle of the proposed project, those are all existing?
Those are all existing.
Right, good, okay.
These trees here are existing, yes.
Good, great,
Yeah.
excellent.
One
Thank
thing I
you.
would like to point out is at this time, the footprints of the 3 buildings that I'm pointing to right now are more or less placeholders on this plan. The intent was that this would be a large farmhouse, and a drawing for that was submitted, and is included in the permit set to the board. The drawings for these two buildings have not yet been submitted. The intent was that this building would look more like a barn, or this building would look more like a barn that would be more or less an accessory structure to one of
Right.
these.
Right.
And I forgot to mention that our architect is Andy Zaleski of the MZO Group, who has specialized in developing more or less very traditional New England architecture in the area. He was a student of Claude McKell. Some of you may know the McKell plans. A lot of them were built down in the Linfield and Topsfield area. And you probably have also seen some of Andy's work in other townhouse communities near our area in Amesbury. Another good example is Caldwell Farm in Byfield or Newbury. Andy designed those. Andy was injured during our ramp up here and was not able to get to these three structures to as far as he did the remainders. There are well-developed plans for these at this time, but Andy is recovered fine and is back working on these now. And in a month or so, we should have more defined plans for these. The footprint should actually be smaller than what you see here in both cases.
So John, we will end up with elevations for each building?
Correct.
Or each type of building if there are
Correct.
duplications? Okay, thank
Correct.
you. Because I had noticed that in the submittal that we were missing elevations. Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Mr. Chair?
Go right ahead, Ray, as always. I mean, this is
you-
discussion for the board, so we can, you can do the way you always do it.
Okay, I'm just saying, I mean, in the included plan set, we do have units A, B, and C, elevation views of those.
But they don't correspond to all of the buildings being built, is my point, right?
Correct.
That's right. This unit that I'm pointing to now is the C building. These
Right.
are A and B here.
Right.
And these two will be D and E shortly.
Yeah. So you're gonna have different elevations than what's been presented. That was just my point.
Correct. And particularly at the front end of the site, what we wanted was that what was visible from the street appeared as though it might have been here for 100 years or so.
Right. And that's a good point to stress that a lot of this, I live across from Cortland, which also had issues with where they could build. And so fortunately for the neighborhood, it's all built in the back, which is, also goes along with what the master plan recommends is try and move everything back away from the street if you can. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff that won't actually be visible from the street.
Correct. The other thing that I'd like to talk about before I turn it over to Jay is that this area in the front here is where we plan to have our common septic system.
Rob Phillips.
Okay, the common septic system in this area here. We've tested the soils throughout the site extensively and found that fortunately for my use or my intention, and I think probably the public at large, that the very best soils were concentrated in this area. Though we did get passing perks throughout the site, the best ones were here, and there was a fair amount of good topography in this area to capitalize on as well. With that, may I turn it over to Jay from Hancock Engineering?
You've got the floor. It's
And
yours,
Jay,
John.
Jay, I'm going to stop sharing and ask you to share.
All right, great. Thank you. I will send my request. So I'm Jay Blackwood with Hancock Associates, the civil engineer on the project. And once I get accepted, I will share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so the plan that I'm showing here is the existing conditions plan, reflects the site how it is currently. The site was formerly the site of Knapp's greenhouses. It's developed along Main Street down here. Across Main Street is residential houses with wetlands on the other side of the road. To the north is also wetlands that connect via culvert to the wetlands on the west side of Main Street with residential properties to the north as well. Over to the east is extensive wetlands that eventually ends in conservation land. To the south, again, some more wetlands down here with residential houses. So in the existing condition, most of the developments in the front with a large field with the rear. There's a high point around the center of the site, which is about right here, which splits where the water flows in the existing condition. So essentially from this area here to the left flows down to this wetland through the culvert to the other side of the road. We call that a discharge point, where all the other wetlands flow to the east to this large series of wetlands. So the site is over 19 acres, but what we're showing here is just the area within wetlands, outside the wetlands. As we get a little bit further, we'll show some plans that have the entire site shown. So I'll just kind of move quickly through some of these plans. This is our erosion control plan. This generally shows our limit of work and what we're doing for erosion controls to protect the wetlands and the other resources out on this site. Essentially, everything will be removed, all the buildings and driveways. We're starting fresh. We're preserving the trees that are over in here. And we're essentially keeping our development 25 feet away from the wetlands. This is the yield plan that we had prepared previously. There are 13 lots that we could get here, duplex lots for a total of 26 units, how we got to our 26 unit count. So this is our open space plan that we based on those 26 units. John had touched on this already, but as I said, over 19 acres with a lot of it being wetland over here to the east. So, so with this plan, we're trying to keep the open space where there are the wetland areas, but as well in these poppy fields, and then over where this septic area will go. We'll kind of get more into the septic as we go, but it will be renaturalized with that kind of pasture grass that Bill had mentioned before. Duplex units for the most part with 4 singles at the rear. This is just another version of that plan. So this is our grading and drainage plan here. So this plan is pretty technical, so I'll try to simplify it a little bit. So the roof areas and the proposed roadways will be collected, the roof areas via gutters and downspouts, roadways via catch basins, and routed to these superficial infiltration basins here and over here, as well as a subsurface chamber system over here. So these systems are designed to meet state and local regulations. So the state has a standard, and then the town of West Newbury has a stricter standard. We're meeting both those standards. So these systems are designed to cut down on peak rates of runoff, provide infiltration and recharge. We also provide 60% phosphorus, total phosphorus removal, and 90% TSS. Those are local codes there.
What's TSS?
Total suspended solids.
Thank you.
So it's like soils in the water
Right.
that float. So as I mentioned earlier, this is how we determine where water's flowing on this site. We look at the topography and the soil types. The site is split via this line right here with this portion EX1 draining to discharge point DP1, which eventually makes its way to the west side of Main Street. EX2 drains to DP2, discharge point 2, which is the series of wetlands over here. So this is the basis of our drainage design. We cannot exceed peak rates of runoff to either of these discharge points. So this is how we've mapped out our current drainage system. Again, we have that split that generally goes this way. We have these smaller, what we call subcatchments draining to the infiltration basins. Overflow from these basins will eventually make their way to the discharge points. So we obviously have an increase in impervious area. We use these, what they call BMPs, best management practices. That's the basins and chambers to basically offset that increase in impervious area. And the regulations state that we essentially need to make this site better in the proposed condition than it is in the existing condition. And this is a general map showing how we're doing that. This is utility plan. In terms of utilities, it's pretty basic. There's nothing out here. It's all new utilities, underground water, electric, gas if it's available, and if John wants to do it for the development. So septic, so this is 26 units. So there's a 26 unit septic system associated with it. Each unit has its own 1,500 gallon septic tank, and it all drains down a sewer main to a central pump chamber down at the bottom of the hill. This pump then pumps up to the septic field. The septic system that was chosen is what's called a Perk-Right drip dispersal system. So this is a system that it's very low profile. We obviously need our required setback to groundwater, but after that, the pipes themselves and the cover over the systems are very minimal, and they're allowed to be installed essentially at grade. There are some requirements for it still, but it's lowest impact we can possibly get for a septic field. Let's see. What else do we have? And this is a profile of the roadway. So as you can see, you enter the roadway here, you get up to a high spot, and then you go back down at a consistent 2% slope. And this is where it loops back and ties back into itself. So this roadway meets all the maximum and minimum requirements for slope. It also shows that septic system that we have, or the septic sewer main going down to the.
So I'm saying
central tank.
a little bit of 8% slope setback from the entrance.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's basically a gradual 2% slope all the way down. So this, it's a little bit deceiving, this profile. Let me try to find the best one for it. Because it shows us looping around and coming back to right here. So that's why it looks like it goes up at the end. But yeah, you have a little bit of a steep slope up here. There is a steep slope there in the existing condition that we're fighting basically. So we're trying to maintain generally the same driveway location that's there. Like Bill had mentioned, we're trying to save some of these trees in this area, especially that beech tree. We're also creating a roadway that looks nice, a little bit winding, again, kind of hidden behind these houses. So the 3% required for the first, I think it's 40 feet, and then you go up to a small section of 8% where we start to level off with a consistent 2% all the way down to right here at the end.
Thank you.
And I think that's about it. I just kind of wanted to give a general guide of what the plans are and kind of get more specific as questions come up. So I don't know, John, do you have anything else you want to add, or Bill?
Jay, the profile, the vertical is exaggerated, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
That's
So
one
this
thing
is
that people should realize is that it's not that steep in actuality. This is, well, you can explain it probably better than I.
Yeah, so this is a horizontal scale of 1 equals 50 feet with a vertical scale of 1 equals 5 feet. So it's common to scale these down in the vertical because you wouldn't be able to fit it on a sheet. And so this is not nearly as steep as it looks. So I believe that the maximum slopes are generally around 10%. So even at 8%, we're still below it.
Jay.
Yeah.
If you would, once in a while, you drop your voice.
Yeah.
So keep it elevated.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have two screens, so I'm looking at the one
I'm
computer,
with
my
you. I
microphone's on the other
understand.
one.
I understand. Thank you. Okay, you were turning it back to John?
Yeah, if John doesn't have anything else to add, we can take it to questions.
Jake, do you mind going back to the overall layout? Couple of things I would like to point out. This is fine, thank you. One of the things to understand is that we don't have any retaining walls along this area. I don't even believe there are any retaining walls in the entire project. Grades are able to be done just with standard allowable slopes. The other thing to know, I don't have the architecturals in this particular set. I could pull them up if you want, but that's sort of a discussion for another day. Do you have the elevations there, Jay? There we go. So you will see the fronts and rears of the buildings. You will see that roof lines for many of the buildings are held at the first story. And much of our second floor space is built into the attic. So
Right.
our A and B units, which are on top of this plan, are low profile on the front, and most of them are low profile on the back. Our B unit is our most common unit, and you can see the rear elevation of the B unit. Jay, do you mind pointing to it? Right there. That is what the backs of the B units would look like.
John, are these the single families or the duplexes or both?
The single families are simply the same units as the A units and the B units, but not connected to each other.
Got it.
So we are able to connect any A unit to another A unit or another B unit, and vice versa. The C units are totally different.
Right. And that's why you're showing different footprints in there.
Right.
Style A, style B.
Correct.
Right.
Right. And Bill worked with these to figure out where each of them works best on the site for grade purposes. The C unit that you see is a more typical two-story colonial like you see around town, and like many of the old farmhouses were. This is again intended to be a placeholder. We're gonna refine this drawing. We're probably gonna take some mass out of it and refine. You can see it has the chimneys and things that a typical large colonial farmhouse might have. We're gonna work with it a bit to make it even more typical and look more historic. As I mentioned before, what's not included in these elevations are the barn type looking structures that will be the D and the E unit ultimately, in place of those footprints that you saw, the first footprint on the left and the second one on the right when driving in.
John, about how many square feet is each unit?
I believe the B unit is just around 2,000. And I'm sorry, the B unit is just over 2,000. And the A unit is just about 2,000. It might be a little less. And the C units are yet to be determined. The C, D, and E are yet to be determined, but that's the general range that we like to keep them in. One unit in this C, in the farmhouse might end up being a little bigger than 2,500, let's say, and the other unit would be back around the 2,000 square foot range.
Thank you.
But as we go through the process, everything will be finalized with
Correct.
final drawings, right?
Correct.
Right. And when we talk elevations, we're talking about how the house looks, correct?
Correct. I believe we're required to submit elevations only at this time, but to answer your question directly,
Thank you.
Somewhere around 2,000 for the A unit and slightly over that for the B unit.
And of course, when you're combining your A's and B's to create your duplexes, you're going to lose a lot of windows on those side elevations.
Correct. Correct. They're also designed to be able to slot, as you connect an A unit to a B unit, you can alter the elevation between them slightly. And you can slide one forward or back of the other
Right.
to work with the grade.
And pick up a window or two, maybe.
Correct, maybe, yep,
Yeah,
but that's a maybe.
yeah.
And remind us about how many bedrooms in each unit?
The A units, all units will have 3 bedrooms. The A units have 3 bedrooms on the second floor only. No first floor bedroom in the A's. The B units will have 1 bedroom on the first floor, a master bedroom, and then 2 bedrooms upstairs and possibly a little loft area as well. The C units will more or less be some version of the A and B units, or the C building, let's say, may have one of them may have a first floor master bedroom with a total of 3 bedrooms, and the other half of the C building would be probably all 3 bedrooms up on the second floor.
Okay, John, are you presenting anything else to us?
I don't have anything else to present. I'm happy to answer questions at this time from the board.
Okay, then. So who would like to begin?
I'd be glad to begin.
Go right ahead, Ray.
I'm wondering if I can go ahead and share. Looks like I'm being allowed to do that. Just looks like you're seeing my screen,
Yes.
and you can see my cursor as well.
Yep.
Okay. So one of the first things that's important to us for these open space developments, it's critical that we all agree that this yield plan is a good one, because all the numbers cascade off this yield plan. So I'm wondering if anybody cares to, John, anybody in your team there cares to go into the development of the yield plan, and in particular talk about perks, because the public has to know that this is a plausible, a reasonable standard development that could be built off Main Street on this lot if we didn't go with the open space preservation development plan.
Sure, I will give a general description of things here, and if it gets technical, Jay can jump in as needed. What you see here is a typical subdivision layout. It shows a roadway that would be permissible in terms of its length and its slopes and width under the current zoning bylaw and development regulations. It's a 50-foot wide road with a cul-de-sac at the end of it. Each of the lots on the plan contains the required frontage in the C district, resident C district. You can see here, 150 feet that is circled. Each lot has the required frontage and acreage that's required, and in fact exceeds the required acreage and buildable area in that district as required. Each lot has a passing perk test on it. Most of them, the perks were done in the front of the lot, which is where I typically like to put my septic systems, if I can. And each of the perks that we did was done outside the 100-foot buffer zone to wetlands. You'll see the 100-foot line is shown with a single line and a circle right there. septics are permitted to be as close as 50 feet to wetlands in West Newbury. So this, and buildings are permitted to be as close as 50 feet to wetlands in West Newbury. So you will see that on each of the lots, there is plenty of room to fit a house and a septic, meeting the planning regulations for front yard, rear yard setbacks. A house can be outside the 40-foot setback and outside the 20-foot side setbacks. And a septic can be placed in any of the setbacks. It has its own set of setbacks, which are smaller, but each of these can handle basically a house, a structure that could have as many as 2 units in it, and a septic system designed to handle both of those units. So conceivably, the density here, if we chose to develop this site along the lines of what you see with this plan, we would likely have 13 duplex units built, and each with its own septic system.
So just to be clear to people who are zooming in tonight, this yield plan represents a conventional subdivision with 13 lots, and each lot in West Newbury, you have the ability to put a duplex by right without any permission from the planning board. So if this yield plan is correct, and to my eye, it looks like it could very well be correct, we'd be talking about 26 units. And then there's also the confounding possibility of some additional units, accessory dwelling units that might go as well. So it could be 26, it could be somewhat more with accessory dwelling units, depending on limitations that would be imposed on any potential developer to meet septic requirements. Rob, if I may, one of the first things that I would like to hear from Meridian in writing is that they've reviewed this yield plan and the perks and the information that Mr. Sarkis just told us, and that they believe this yield plan is correct.
Right. Yep.
So because every other, and we've seen this before, and there were other developments where we got into long arguments that extended for a long period of time. So
Yep. Well, as you know, Meridian will be doing that work for us, and yes, of course, this will be this is top order
thank you.
of the engagement.
Priority on this one for as
Right.
far as I'm
Right.
concerned. And I've got another thing, but I think Rob, perhaps this is a good time to ask the other planning board members if they have any questions about the yield plan, since we're on this subject. And it looks like we do. Go ahead, you're muted though.
Who is that?
It's
Deb.
Deb, I'm sorry. The dog was
Okay, Deb.
barking, so I muted myself. John, were you able to locate a second perk on these lots for reserve areas? Isn't that also a requirement?
Some of them have them on it, but that was not a requirement of the OSPD filings.
Okay, no,
It requires a yield plan showing a general layout and one passing perk on each lot. So
Thank
that's what we've done.
got it. Thank you.
Okay, so Ray's opening it up to everybody that's on the planning board, including the associate member, Tim, if they've got any questions at this time. I would remind everybody that we're just doing a soft opening here, if you will, because we're going to be getting feedback from Meridian, as Ray mentioned, from fire, police, water. There's still stuff to come to review, so we're just beginning the review. not everything has to be done in one night. I would ask, John, do you have a final septic design on this project?
Not at this time.
So what's the timing on that?
The area has been vetted by Hancock and by Oakson Engineer, who is the engineering firm that actually works with Hancock to lay out a septic system. They have vetted it, and the area that we have, we are confident that that plan shows it well right there down in that lower left-hand corner.
So just to chime in here, John, for people who are looking in from Zoom, this little weird sort of Lego block thing, that's actually a septic tank. And if you take a close look, you'll see that there's a septic tank next to each one of these units. The reason I'm chiming in is because I closely inspected this before the meeting. And you can see, for example, this unit has its septic tank, and then that feeds to a line which proceeds along this way. And in large complexes like this, some of the flow is gravity flow, and then some of the flow is pumped flow. And then eventually those waste lines are pumped into this field here, which has the kind of modern septic system that was mentioned during the initial presentation. So yeah,
The reason I mention it is that also as part of the review process, the septic design goes to the Board of Health. And of course, there is stormwater management that goes to our designated guru on stormwater, which is also he's in charge of septic design for the Board of Health. But Paul Savigny will be reviewing both. And the sooner we get septic design, the better we know that the layout that we're looking at is the actual layout that we'll be working with.
yeah, and there's a lot of details.
There were a lot of yeah. So again, there are other people that will be joining us either in person or by memo that are taking up certain elements of this. So not everything is the Concom obviously is part of the review process. They have already done a lot of their work, but there's a little bit that remains. John, I wanted to ask you again, this is a private road?
Yes, it's the intent that this would remain a private road serving just these 26 units, and it would be maintained by the homeowners association.
Right. So as it relates to the homeowner association, how are we going to be assured through the documents that there's someone in place that we can go to if, for instance, there's a water main break that has to be attended to that's on your property, not town property?
So the town bylaws specify the requirements of a homeowners association in this situation, and we follow that to the letter of the law or beyond it.
Right, and you'll be submitting that to us for review?
It has to be submitted to the planning board, and it's typically reviewed by board's counsel.
Okay.
No,
In advance, in advance, as we get toward the end of the process, we'll know, we will have
Yeah, exactly. I know this is like looking ahead. This is one of
Right.
the further off things, but I want
right.
everybody to be aware that this is a private road. But even being a private road, there's still elements that we have to make sure that there's a place to go to if, in fact, for instance, they don't call them detention ponds or retention ponds anymore, but if there's a failure in one of those things, there has to be someone that you go to that you can make sure they get it fixed.
Correct, and that's all specified in the HOA documents.
Right, exactly. Good. So the sooner, I know it's premature, but going through HOA documents is cumbersome at best. So So the sooner rather than later would be great by me.
Correct. As these, for example, the HOA documents and the maintenance requirements, they refer to specific elements such as a septic pump. And so once we have nailed down what those specific elements are going to be, in other words, after Meridian's review, if anything changes, it's at that time that we begin to, and Board of Health's review, it's at that time that we begin to start developing the HOA management and bylaws
Right,
and
right,
all
right,
the
right.
things that they
And
have to.
who's responsible for what, and,
Correct.
you
Correct.
spell out, if it's a main, then maybe it's on the association to pay for the main, because that main serves everybody. On the other hand, certain associations parcel out common elements, not to the entire HOA, but to subgroups and stuff. So that's what I'll be interested in. So will the water department, for instance.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rob,
Yep.
I've got a couple questions.
Sure. Go right ahead, Brian.
Okay, John, yeah, two at the moment. When you were for an informal discussion of this project in late January or early February, I can't remember the exact timing, you had indicated that the front building may have some apartments, and I see that as presented tonight, you apparently backed away from that. Can you expound on that, please?
Yes, once we got into site planning, we found that we had room to keep buildings as duplexes and not go to a 3 or 4 unit building anywhere. At this time, we're able to break them apart like this and keep them all as duplexes. I feel that's a much better plan. It does not require a sprinkler system. The notion of apartments is still on the table for me in that we do have to provide 2 units of restricted affordable housing on the site. And in addition to that, we have to provide a fee for a fractional unit because 10% of the units need to be reserved for or restricted, deed restricted to affordable housing under the state's laws and or complying with the state's laws. We can't build 0.6 of a unit, so we would provide a payment to the town for that 0.6. But the 2 that we would build, we would probably look to hold those 2 and keep them as rentals.
I see. Okay, that's fine. The other question, the yield plan, Ray covered everything I had on that question. I think people will be interested in a traffic study, and have you completed one, or have you contemplated one on this?
So we have a traffic engineer as part of our team. Most of that work was related to the fact that Main Street is a state highway, and the real critical items are to understand that entering and exiting the development are safe, and traveling on Main Street with this development built out is also safe. And similarly, nearby points of intersection would be Pleasant Street and is it Harris Street? And those intersections would be safe. I honestly have not engaged the traffic consultant to address anything other than our own intersection at this time, because during the highly publicized MBTA process, a traffic study was done on this property, hypothetically, for a development of a larger number of, or a greater number of units than what we propose. And that traffic study indicated that the development of the site would pose no congestion or adverse impacts on Main Street or the nearby intersections. So my personal opinion, having done this my entire career, is that it's not really necessary for a traffic study, but that's your call if the board
Yeah,
requires.
right. And so do you intend to submit that previous work that was done, I believe, for the town?
The town has it
Yeah,
already.
so we can grab that and make that part of our discussions in future meetings.
Yeah,
If,
I suspect some folks may comment about that, and that's the reason I brought it up.
Yeah, sure. No, and it's a good comment
Yeah.
yeah, I think we'll go there as a matter of course. All I'm
Right.
saying is that a beginning point can be what was already done at the town's request for a
Correct.
possible
Correct.
previous development, and then we'll see what that looks like, and we'll see where we want to go from there.
Okay, that's it for the moment.
Okay.
Rob, if I could jump back, I just want to get a little, because you can tell I'm anxious about it. I just wanted to make sure that all the planning board's members had a chance to comment on the yield plan before we leave that. Just make sure that Ann and Tim and they're all okay with.
Yeah, remembering that Meridian's going to be taking it up, and we'll have certainly a
Yes.
second bite of that apple.
Yes,
Again, this is, Ray, a little bit of a soft opening, like they do in
Yes.
retail.
exactly.
So it's not like we got to make sure that we cover everything the first
No,
get-go.
I just wanted it
Yep.
as part of the
Yep.
soft opening.
Yep.
If,
Well, as you know, they're all out there, and as far as I know, they're no longer muted, so they should feel free to comment first on Ray's request regarding the yield plan. I think you covered it very well and
okay.
pointed out how important it is.
And then I got one other thing to
Sure.
talk.
So let's dispense with your request. Any other member of the board wishing to comment on the yield plan, remembering that we'll have certainly more bites of this apple.
Yes,
Ann's hand up.
I would like to. I had the same concerns and comments that Ray expressed. I think he explained it well. I hope everyone listening understands. And I feel confident that the Meridian review will yield more information if we need it. My other question had to do at this early stage of the game with grading and retaining walls, but the question of retaining walls was answered by Mr. Sarkis, who said they did not plan to need any retaining walls and would be able to achieve their grading through more conventional.
Speaking of which,
intrusive
and
means.
I'm sorry, had you finished or did I interrupt you?
Yeah, those are my two things, retaining
Okay.
walls and yield plan.
Great.
Now.
And
So
I also-
if I could, Ray, just one before
Yeah.
I forget, because
Yeah.
I hate to forget stuff. One of the things we should set in motion, I believe, is a site walk.
Yes,
And on a site walk, it would be very common to not necessarily go over the yield plan, but to take up issues of sight lines and issues of grading and whatnot. So when should we set in motion a site walk? Would it be now, ahead of Meridian, hearing from Meridian, or after we hear from Meridian?
if I may, I would request a site walk at the earliest possible time for the board.
I would, if we're going to be talking about site walks, it can sometimes, well, it's always helpful to me anyway. If like you could flag the rough location of the future roads and maybe the first buildings.
Of course.
Yeah, before the site walk so that everybody can kind of see where things fall on the lot.
I'll have them mowed, flagged and mowed.
And bring bug spray, tick spray. So
And then,
so if we're going to arrange a site walk, right? And
yes,
and there's good form for how a site walk would work best. What I'm wondering about is if it's going to be sooner rather than later, which I'm kind of in favor of too. But what I would suggest is that we we agree that we're gonna do a site walk. We agree whether it's gonna be before we hear from Meridian sooner or later. And then we let John work with each board member about availability, and with John and perhaps Ray, you could take the lead in making sure that the site walk is properly prepared for by John, working with John. I mean,
I'm glad to do it, although God knows John knows how to.
no, so it should be an easy task. So I'm not
Yeah.
giving you something, I mean, you can thank me later for giving you an easy task, but
Rob, it does need to be advertised, so.
yeah, but we need to, so what I'm
I mean,
looking.
posted, I'm sorry, posted.
Right. So it needs to be posted. That's not onerous. I think the hardest thing is getting a schedule together, which I'm proposing we don't do in this meeting, but then we do post it, and then we announce it. So we use the town and its capabilities of bannering the website or sending out emails to people who've signed up to keep track of town affairs. I'm just looking to kickstart that and get that as another duck in a row. That's all.
May I ask that Denise weigh in on this? Just to perhaps describe the proper procedure for posting a site walk, so we know how far in advance it may have to be, statutorily.
I can if the board wants me to. Typically it is a little helpful if you could pick a date at a meeting while the public hearing is happening, and then you would post it as you would any other posted
Right, but the
meeting.
key thing is you're posting it as you would any other meeting.
You are.
So
Yep.
so if we're talking about 3 weeks out, there's plenty of time to get ducks in a row. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you don't have to re-advertise, you just have to post.
Right.
You have to post it.
I would suggest later in September. We have another meeting on September 8th. So I mean, I would propose late
So
September.
after September 8th,
Yes.
just to be
Absolutely.
clear. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
I would say to that helps with the posting situation. I
Right.
always recommend to planning boards that it's best to pick
Yeah.
that date while you're in the public hearing, so that anyone who is in attendance knows when that date is.
Yeah, except that if we're doing it after September 8th, we have another meeting in which to make an announcement in addition to posting it, in addition to banner, in addition to email. So if we're gonna do after September 8th, what I propose is we go offline with the scheduling, get all ducks in a row, then we'll know when we're gonna do it. Then we can start doing the posting and the announcing, and then everybody will be duly informed. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, sounds good. And I would just ask Mr. Sarkis, if he needs like a couple of weeks, ahead of time to get the mowing and flag it. Because you probably have to get a survey crew
Well,
out.
he wanted sooner rather than later, and I think we're doing it later. But John, yes, comment. Can you work with what we're talking?
So late September is not great for me due to previous commitments on weekends. If the board is thinking to do this on a weekend, we still have plenty of sunlight now. We could do it during the week, anytime. But after Labor Day, if the board is inclined to do it on a Saturday or Sunday morning, like many of them have been in the past, the 12th is a good day, and I am able to get everything lined up by that time, no problem.
I'm fine with a weekday.
Yeah, I'm fine with a weekday too.
And if we have Meridian, it may be easier.
Yeah, I'm so
Can be
I'm not so
early.
sure we should be. John, set aside weekends for a second. If we want to do it as we just discussed, and it's going to be a weekday, are you set up in order to do it in the time frame we've discussed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
My
So
my suggestion is that, as a former planning board member, I believe the site walk is critical. I know people think they know the site, but they really don't until they see it with stakes in the ground. It greatly helps anybody review and understand things.
understood, but we're not going to be wrapping this up
Correct. I think.
Okay, so,
if
and
we
it
could
might be
get-
helpful to have Meridian answer back also. So I'm content with going after the 8th and getting this in motion. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So sidewalk settled. Jen, you'll handle making the arrangements that seem to suit the members best. And then you and I will,
Absolutely.
and then you and I will discuss how we're gonna do the announcements and the posting, et cetera.
Sure thing.
Okay, great. Everybody okay with this?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. So what else do you want to take up? Any other questions or think? Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, my second question was for the Sarkis team. And you know, for the audience, these dashed lines indicate topographic lines that exist. So this 97 here means that that's 97 feet above sea level. Sometimes they shift it for site work. But that, you know, that's all at the same level. So when you get a bunch of lines together, that indicates a slope. And then the solid lines would be the slope after the work is done. And if you take a look around this plan, and again, I'm talking to audience members, you can see that there are lots of places where we've got these racetrack-like lines, and these indicate how slopes would be afterwards. And so now my question for the Sarkis team is, I can see this even spacing. So it indicates to me that you guys are working with a particular slope to leave behind after the site has been developed. And I'm wondering what that slope is.
Fills are 3-1.
3-1.
Is that correct, Jay?
Yeah, correct. 3-1 is the steepest slope you can go with natural vegetated cover. Over that, you would need some sort of surface reinforcing, and then beyond that, you would need a retaining wall. So we're trying to avoid retaining walls, and this
Right.
will all
And
be vegetated.
and how adversely would it affect you to revise some of these outer slopes to be less than 3-1, gentler than 3-1? It
So,
looks like you're running into some issues with. Looks like you've got some constraints over here
correct.
and maybe some constraints back here.
Correct. You'll see that the bulk of the site is very gently graded, where the bulk of the development occurs. The steep slopes are concentrated in the two areas you pointed to. The back end of the site, I guess the southeast end in that area, those slopes are not visible to anybody. So it's best in that area to keep our disturbed area as minimized as is possible. If you were to go to the front end of the site, they could be shifted. For example, that detention pond that you see right there, that could be elongated closer towards the street, which would have pushed some of our grading, our steeper grading, or it may have lessened the topography in the area to the plan north there, but it would have caused more grading plan west, if I may. So we felt that keeping the grades that are visible from Main Street to minimal as possible, alterations in that side, we felt that was the better way to handle the site.
Good. Well, thank
Aesthetically.
you for that. One of the reasons why, I mean, the planning board is, we've been discussing for some time now, slopes both before and after developments. And so this is a good case study. Steeper slope means less disturbance. But 3-1 is your maximum, 33% is another way of talking about the grade. Okay, well, thank you for that. And that's it for me at this time, Rob.
So I would say that the vegetation becomes critical in that regards, doesn't it, Ray?
Well, yeah, 3-1 is a fairly standard number that people look at as the maximum slope that you can have while avoiding any kind of retaining walls and allowing natural vegetation to seed and eventually stabilize the slope. 3-to-1 can be a bit of a challenge initially during construction. Oftentimes mats have to be put down or something else to get that vegetation to take root and stabilize their slopes.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So speaking of vegetation, I appreciated the, is it Ben Brown?
It's Bill.
Bill, I'm sorry, Bill Brown. Bill, I appreciated your presentation, and I know you mentioned that you'll be paying attention to a lot of native plants on site. Bill?
Yes.
So you had mentioned native plantings.
Yes. The trees that we're trying to use and find, and they're difficult actually to do that, is to find the native species that are non-cultivars, especially for
Right.
the tree. They're difficult to find sometime. We're going to attempt to do that.
Great.
And
The street trees you're looking at, you're thinking deciduous native.
yes, we
So
are.
oaks, maples, unfortunately, no
Tilia,
ash.
yeah, no ash. Ash have a bore, but Tilias, which are lindens, oaks, and maples.
And
So the reason I mention it is I would expect one thing that we will get into when we review further on will be the nature of and type of planting. So it's just a forewarning that we may pay more attention to that than other places.
And
Okay.
and when you talk about your pasture seed mix, you know, a native pollinator species mixed into that would be something I'm sure the town will desire.
Okay, we can do that. We've done some investigation into that where we could introduce some pollinators into it as well.
Great. So we've talked before about this setting the table, and unless there is something that a board member wants to take up, I'm anxious to go to the attendees, not board members, who have questions, concerns.
Hey, Rob?
Yep.
Mind if I chime in? This is Tim.
No, go
just a
ahead,
couple
right
of
ahead.
things.
And anybody else, well, let's do it, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, just a couple of things I don't think were mentioned. There was a stormwater study done, I believe, for the site as well. And I don't know if that's publicly available, but you know, I think that's going to be of interest to people. So just something that, you know, I would recommend be made available.
Stormwater gets submitted to the town, correct?
It has been submitted to the town and it would be part of Meridian's scope to review that
Right,
as well.
exactly, right.
Right. Yeah. So that's for Meridian too. The other thing is, John, if you could just address where it is a state highway, you know, what's the process? I know you've got a traffic engineer, but the plan's a little lacking. It doesn't show the street locations across the street. And there's that small Harrison Avenue that you mentioned, and then there's Pleasant Street on the other side, but they're not shown on the plan.
They
So-
sort of are, Tim. Can you see them here?
Yeah, not
Here
really,
and
right?
Here.
Yeah, those are the two curb cuts closest to the site
Yeah.
right there.
So what I would recommend, just so people can understand what that means, because it escaped me, honestly, I didn't recognize those as the streets, that
Right,
there'd be a plan that shows the street locations, just so people understand where your
yeah,
roadway is.
Yeah. yeah.
gonna be
We
located.
had mentioned that at the preliminary, John, I think, and I think Tim's correct that the conversations will go to, so where's my street, where's my house? I always like to see something for across the street, just
Yeah.
because it's just what always comes up. So
We can do
anything you
that.
can do in that regard, even if it's in the nature of Right, exactly. Something like that, but it calls out houses and streets across the street would be beneficial. Thank you.
Sure. I think the best way to do that is to superimpose an aerial photo right
Absolutely.
over that area. It'd be easiest for people to understand it
Absolutely, 100%.
that way. The other thing, to answer your question, Tim, the process for the curb cut is a DOT process. We've had initial conversations with DOT. We've shared our location with them. They do not formally review anything until such time as we are approved with the planning board. I don't like the process, but that's how they prefer to handle it. Our traffic consultants have worked in West Newbury in the past. That's Vanessa and Associates. They've handled some of the other projects in town. They've done other projects for me in much more trafficked areas. And if Jeff Dirk has blessed this, I'm 100% confident that our plan is a good plan and works. But we will, as we get closer to the end of this process, we will draw up plans submitted to DOT that with their requirements and get that process rolling with them. We cannot construct the road until such time as we have an approval with DOT.
Good. Okay. I think that's useful for people to know. Let's see. The only other observation that I would make that we really didn't cover, because we've been focusing on the area that is going proposed to be developed, is that the rest of the land really has to be dedicated to open space formally. So, that's through, it can be, I guess, a conservation easement. It can be, I believe the town can take title to it, but, that's a permanent dedication of the rest of the land, which is not really shown on these plans, but is in the rest of the package. There you go. Yeah. That would be permanently dedicated as open space. That's a requirement under the bylaw.
Correct. So that means we can't take the two front areas that we'd like to keep open and reconstruct the ice cream stand that was once there where the poppies are right now, as an example. That has to stay as permanent open space.
Yep. Okay. That's it. Thanks, Rob.
As always, Tim, thank you. Anybody else? Any other board members? So let's now open it up to those in attendance. Ray is going to serve as MC. What that means is, people have their hands raised and you'll be recognized. You'll let us know your name and address, and then you can ask your question, make a comment.
For those who haven't practiced, if you move your cursor around at the very bottom of the screen, you'll find a little reactions thing. If you click on that, then there's the option to raise your hand, like Mr. Dan Lucier has done.
So is that who you're calling forward?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, good evening, Dan Lucier. I'm off 3 Pleasant Street. My main concern is really around the water report. I don't really have issues with like the visuality of this. I'm getting a lot more water runoff year after year on 3 Pleasant Street. It seems to be in excess of when I moved here 14 years ago. When I reviewed the stormwater report, the page number 2, it looked like there was a potential stormwater increase of 55% for DP2 and 39% for DP1. And you have DP1 and DP2 separated across the compass here. So where is all that water really running?
Jay, can I ask you to address that?
Yeah, Yeah, so, as you can see here, EX1 goes to DP1. So we're doing the same thing. So PR1B is area that's predominantly landscaped area. It's going to follow existing slopes to that wetland culvert that's kind of cut into the ground over there. So the culvert's actually up there.
Do you mind if Jay shares the screen for
Not
this
at all, not at all.
purpose?
I mean, I guess my comment would be, can we break it down into those sections then, rather than aggregating them to DP1 and DP2 and get a percentage that way? I'm sure it's probably in that table of numbers. But while I read like hardware engineering drawings, that is not something I'm used to looking at, and it's a little excessive. So is that table, can we separate that somehow into the different zones of runoff rather than just aggregate at DP1 and DP2?
So we need to analyze to the discharge point. So there are different subcatchments throughout here that eventually get to their way to the discharge point in a different way, but ultimately it's at the discharge point itself. We need to cut down on peak rates at every storm event, which this shows. So in your 2-year storm, which you're going to see most often, there should be half or less than half in some cases of the volume of water leaving the site than the existing condition. And then as you go up in the storm events, you can see that these volumes are much, are these, the flows are much
Okay, so
less
I
than
read that
this.
backwards then. You're saying, all right,
This is existing, and then this would be proposed.
so less
Jay,
runoff is what
did
you're
you want
saying.
to share? Jay, did you want to share your screen?
Am I not sharing it?
Nope,
he
you're not
is.
sharing it. There
I'm
you
seeing
go.
it.
Okay.
So it's less runoff is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, appreciate it.
So,
Thank you.
so Jay, one common concern throughout the neighborhood is what happens compared to what's been happening with water leaving the property. And one concern is that seasonally there have been some issues on some of the abutting lands. Do they improve? Are they at risk for being worse? So there's a general overall question of how to assure the neighborhood that they're not going to experience worse than what they've been seeing. In fact, from what you've shown us there, they may experience an improvement. That will come up more than just the one person who's requested clarification.
Yeah, so state regulations say that we need to improve upon current conditions of a site. So we will be seeing a reduction in peak rates of runoff from the site. That's state regs, and then local regs go further beyond that with not just flows, but also water quality from the site. So again, stricter than state code, which this meets. And you could take my word for it, but Meridian will be peer
Yeah,
reviewing.
so
any of
this
those.
is what's known as stormwater management. And my understanding that we'll be going through what's called a tier 3 review. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I guess the peer reviewer will be reviewing it for everything that
No,
we
no, no,
designed.
no. There's when Paul picks this up under representing the town for stormwater management, isn't this a higher level of stormwater management than other developments may have seen in the past?
Correct. This isn't your single family home. This is a full-blown subdivision. It's gonna go through the proper reviews.
Yeah, it's not just the proper, but Paul says that it's more rigorous than what's been applied in the past, even to subdivisions.
Well, and just to be clear, West Newbury has stricter provisions than a lot of towns do around the state.
Exactly. So all I'm getting at is that while people should remain that's a question that's going to remain, and it's going to be a trust and verify, but there are in place more rigorous requirements than have existed before, and we kind of lead the charge in that regard. So, there is an element where this may show improvement for the neighborhood.
Also, I'll just mention here as well, that the quality of the runoff through an engineered system, there was mentioned before the total suspended solids,
Right.
which tend to make water a little murky looking, and pollutants and whatnot. These basins in a typical subdivision like this that's properly engineered, when the water does eventually run off the site, it tends to be of higher quality than in the existing conditions.
So proper engineering being the key word.
Yes,
So,
and Mr. Lusher has his hand up again.
okay, very good.
So that was great info, and I think that needs to be like kind of advertised up front to what Rob you were saying. There's a lot of concerns there.
Yes.
Being able to advertise that in layman's language, it would be very useful to abutters.
100%.
My second question is really related around that quality of water and the timing of how systems are maintained. I know we talked a little bit earlier about the HOA and how that gets managed. I assume at some point, based on that water study, after a year or so, it transitions over to the HOA, I believe, and the studies stop. How do we maintain quality after that? I think there was something about HOA bylaws coming up. Is there an opportunity to look at that and amends and review what that might be in the future?
So I think Jay has to speak to the systems themselves and maintenance of the systems and what might be entailed in rules and regulations from the state first.
Also, Ann had something.
Oh, okay.
I'll let Jay go ahead. He's going to say what I was going to say, I'm sure.
Yeah, so standard 9 of the stormwater handbook in Massachusetts requires you to create an operation and maintenance plan. So they'll probably end up taking this plan and putting it in the condo docs to some degree. But this takes you through everything, every component of the system and how it needs to be maintained. Each component needs to be maintained a different way at a different interval. And that's outlined in here. And then we have a checklist for every it's either 4 times a year, 2 times a year, various times throughout the year.
Right.
And then
So-
some of
Okay,
these-
so that's a long-term maintenance plan,
correct. And this
not
should be
just
done every
like
year.
after John's done with the development. It's
Right.
the long-term maintenance
Right.
plan. Okay, thank
And,
you.
and as it relates to condo docs, what I'll be looking at is we always want the ability to go someplace that in fact has the authority, the reserves, the capability of making sure that if something were to run afoul, there's an agent at the other end who can clear it up. So that becomes those maintenance agreements lead to understandings of you can't all of a sudden have a failed system and there'd be no one to respond. So that was my point about condo docs, which we'll get into later.
And these will all be public documents that anybody in the town of West Newbury or beyond actually will be able to look at. And so everybody will be able to see exactly what's required of the HOA.
And they'll be part of this process and it'll be public and open. And as Ray says, the things will be available to review and see yourself.
If I may, you see this operations and maintenance plan in front of you. You just saw a checklist. When we as the developers turn the maintenance of the infrastructure systems, including the stormwater management system, over to the HOA, we typically provide the HOA with all the consultants and third parties they will need to contract with on a long-term basis to do the inspections and certify to the HOA that, that they have inspected it, give them the results of their inspection, and advise them as to what, if any, actions the the HOA must
Right,
take
right.
to be in compliance with the operations and maintenance plans.
Yep, absolutely. That's one part of it, John. Yep. Okay, Ray, you must have someone else queued up.
It's oddly quiet.
Okay. Well, again, this all isn't going to happen tonight. It's going to take place over time. We have had email communications, I'm sorry, we got, huh? What?
Carl Mosley, did you want to ask questions or make a statement?
Yeah, I was trying to unmute and raise my hand at the same time.
Okay,
I
there
don't
you go.
know.
You've done both. Okay, you're good.
This is Carl Mosley, 175 Main Street. For those of you who've been looking at these diagrams, I'm at the lower left of most of them on Main Street, so I'm in a butter. And I just wanted to add in, as I've said in many of these meetings, that I support this project. I think it's wonderful. I think it will be an asset to the town. It's going to look great. And, those of us who are butters and townspeople, we don't know all the technical details. But I feel like all bases are being covered. So I think in the end, this will be an asset to the town.
Thank you. I would like to remind anybody in the neighborhood or whoever's in a butter, and we got into a little bit with Tim's question about where the roads are, et cetera. On occasion, as we go through this process, and the site walk sometimes can reveal stuff like this, keep an eye out towards those things that you may notice that you have questions about, or that you, for instance, I'll give you my classic example is, a subdivision plan that has the road directly shining headlights on a house across the street. You wanna, you do want to make sure that if there's anything similar to that, that you raise it up as an item, and sometimes there are things that can be done to make improvements in the project that work well for both the developer and the neighborhood. So keep that in mind, please. Raymond,
Sir.
anybody else? Because we need to continue this at some point, because believe it or not, we got another public hearing tonight.
I'm looking over and everybody is politely has their microphone muted, and I don't see anybody unmuting.
Okay, so if
And I
you
don't see
would,
any hands.
if you would, everybody, just rest assured, there'll be another meeting. Will be well publicized. We've already given you the dates. There will be a site walk. Those are all good, very beneficial for everyone. That will be posted and well publicized. We'll work out the date and time, et cetera, a little bit later over the coming week. But if someone like the clerk would then dispense with the necessary continuance of this, I would appreciate it.
Well, the timing, are we starting at 7 or 7:15 or
Which
for the continued hearing?
we'll set an agenda. I would presume, Deb, that we're available at 7 o'clock that night.
You're muted, Deb.
Deb?
Tell me what's the, we're looking at?
So the date is September 8th, which is a Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month.
I'll be there.
You'll be there, so we could, for instance, again, Ray, Brian, what's our pleasure? Is it to set a 7:15 start so that if something comes in ahead of us, like an A&R, we can dispense of that? Or do we want to start the public hearing again at 7?
I would suggest 7:15.
I agree.
Yeah, Okay, good. So Brian, to answer your question, it'll be 7:15, September 8th, which is a Tuesday. That will be the continuation of this public hearing. But we have to do some sort of formal thing, don't we?
Well, I can make a motion to continue the public hearing till Tuesday, September 8th at 7:15 PM.
Second,
Any further discussion, or I don't even know if discussion's available to us. All in favor by roll call?
Ann Bardine, aye.
Ray Cook, aye.
Deb Hamilton, I.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Rob Phillips, aye. So are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it, and we'll meet again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to 20 Ash Street, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's next
The
on
answer,
the
the
agenda.
answer is correct, and so
Yes.
we've got to read the notice, et cetera.
Right.
And Brian,
Okay.
you'll be all set again?
Well, I'm not sure we have to read it all again, but I'll be happy to.
No,
Okay, we don't have to. Yeah, you're right.
shall I read this?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
legal,
see, no,
yeah.
Brian's talking about his task.
Oh, is
Yeah.
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah.
Well, let's do this first.
Yeah.
All right. Pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 40A, Sections 9 and 11, and Chapter 87, Section 3, and West Newbury zoning bylaw, Sections 5.2, 9.8, and 11.2, the West Newbury Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 18th, 2026 at 7 PM to consider a request for special permits for a common driveway and reduced frontage lot. The parcel is located at 20 Ash Street, Assessor's Map R9, Lot 9D, in the residential B and C zoning districts. Owner, Dennis and Deborah Bruce, 20 Ash Street, West Newbury. Applicant, John T. Sarkis, Sarkis Development Company, 2 Elm Square, Andover, Mass. To view the plans, visit the link on the site or contact land.admin@westnewbury.org. Applications can be viewed at the planning office. Interested persons may participate in the meeting by joining from computer, tablet, or smartphone using the link in the ad or by calling the number in the ad.
Very good. So we're open. John, do you want to take us through this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have submitted an application for 2 special permits for 20 Ash Street. This involves a special permit for a reduced frontage lot to create 2 reduced frontage lots out of the current parcel at 20 Ash Street, and an application for a special permit to create a common drive to service both of those lots. I'm going to go straight to the plans at this time. I don't have any consultants here with me, and suggest we get to a site visit for this site as well. If I may share my screen again, I will walk you through what we're doing or what we'd like to do, and inform everybody accordingly. Is it working?
Yes.
Okay. Existing conditions plan. This plan shows the current lot, the subject lot here. This screen left is Ash Street. The boundaries are shown clearly. Okay, there's an existing driveway coming along the left-hand or the northwesterly boundary that feeds and services an existing 2-family dwelling here. There are 2 units in this property right now, as is permitted by the current regulations. There's also a barn, a separate structure, a garage barn structure back here. There is a rise in elevation from about this point, leading to a high point right here where the existing structure is created, or has been there since the 80s or 90s, I believe. Driveway is currently a gravel driveway up to a certain point, and then it becomes paved in some spots through this steeper area here. I'm having difficulty with this screen sometime. How do I get rid of this? Does anybody know how to get rid of this thing at the top?
Move your mouse around until you see the prompt come up. Go towards the top of the screen with your mouse cursor. You mean you want to stop sharing?
Okay, here we go. Here is how I would like to, here's the proposed division of the two properties. You will see again the entire property here. And then you will see a added lot line right here to create lots 1 and 2. Lot 1 is the original parcel is about 10, just shy of or just over 10 acres, 44,000 square feet of land. Lot 2, Lot 1, after division will be 7 acres exactly. And lot 2 would be 3.1 acres. So this is a rather large lot right here by new standards. You will see that there is a section of wetlands towards the front here, and therefore the driveway skirts just outside the wetlands and leads up to the existing dwelling. We are proposing to convert this driveway, the existing driveway, into a common driveway that will service both lots. The common drive will start at the street and would end at this point where it's no longer needed for the use of access to lot 2. The driveway from here out would be solely used by lot 1. We have perked both lots. This one has an existing septic system. The septic is shown in this area. Septic for the proposed new lot, new construction, is here and here. Tests are passed and systems have been roughed out for them. This is a hypothetical house location, but in other words, the house could be placed here or here or here, but we feel this is the best location for the house. We're showing it here at this stage of the game. In any case, what would not be hypothetical at this stage of the game is the location of the common section of the driveway. In other words, this house lot could not have its access from here in this area. It must access lot 2 somewhere in this area where its right of way terminates. The site is mostly open land. This is an edge of clearing right here. This is field. This is wood. This is wood in through this area. This is all wooded on this side. This area in the back is all wooded, slopes down this way. The road's been used for a number of years safely. It's very level from this point all the way to about here. It's very safe. It is currently varying in width from about 14 to 16 feet. We are proposing to widen it very minimally in through this area to here, since 2 units would be using it at this point. And the reason we would like to widen it very minimally is to avoid impact to the wetlands that run alongside the existing driveway at this point. The wetlands to the north of the site are off-site, actually, on the other side of a stone wall that is the boundary. And on the east site just into the wooded area here. So we have proposed an 18-foot wide area at its tightest point here and 20 feet at the as we get closer to Ash Street. You will find on the submittal a list of requested waivers, and the waivers do include lot width, driveway width to those required by the town's common driveway regulations, and also to surfacing. We would propose to keep the gravel driveway as a gravel driveway to minimize the effects of stormwater runoff. And minimize the effect of grading and the effect of impact to the wetlands. I would honestly leave it at that at this point. It's a very simple filing. You'll see we're not creating a new road. We're simply requesting to widen one. It's already in place, and I think a site visit is a great idea to indicate that there's almost no visual impact of the division and of the widening of the road that's here. It's at grade. There's almost no grade changes needed to accomplish our goals of making it a common drive. The newly constructed house would not even be visible from Ash Street.
John, if I could, you mentioned 18 feet. I was just taking a look at the July 9th submittal. It refers to a minimum width of 16 feet.
Is that
does that sound
16? Let me blow this up. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, yes,
You
I'm sorry. On my screen, now that I can see
Oh,
it.
yeah, there it is.
Right there. Yeah. It narrows to 16 feet, and that is to avoid any type of wetland fill at that
Yep.
location.
Okay, thanks.
And it's also important to understand that it's clearly visible from all points. There's no hidden, there's no turns to it. It's straight. A car coming out can see if one's coming in. One could stop here, the other could pass it in the event that they were crisscrossing. And a fire engine could turn around in this area right here.
John, I'm gonna quibble. On your frontage, I'm seeing a bunch of numbers and they don't add up.
Okay.
So I'm sure that you're gonna be able to help me out here.
Sure.
On the road side of your property line, I'm saying S27 4902 East 215. And that 215.11 is referring to foot along that line. I'm sure that's your existing frontage.
So there's 31 feet here, 95 feet here.
Well, that's on the property side. I'm referring to the other side.
I'd have to blow this up and work at it, Ray, to know for sure what's up.
Okay, so as you're looking at your drawing on the left side, it says 215.11. On the right side, you've got your 31.67, your 95.11, and then your proposed new frontage above that is 120. So if I take 120, 95, and 31 and add those all together, I get, what do I get? I get 215, 246, and yet on the other side of the line, it says 215. So I'm a little confused.
Ray, I would have to find the plan is not the best plan to use for that purpose. It's a common driveway plan. I would rather use a boundary plan to show you the total footages for each that exist for the entire lot right now, and then what they would be after the division. But they were intended to be roughly 120 feet of frontage for each lot here. So the total frontage that we have is approximately 240 feet right now. And we would be dividing it roughly in half right now so that each lot would be 120. I'll have to check that plan for accuracy.
Gotcha. So you can see that I see the 120 there. And then I see, you know, a little more than 120 there. And then right here is the 215. I'm assuming you can see that?
I'm sharing my drawing right now, so I can't see
I
what.
believe you have to take in the driveway width into consideration here. If you scroll up, you'll see the driveway width, 20 feet.
Yeah, but that's just showing a
that's
driveway.
different.
Yeah, I believe when we were talking with the engineer, he was taking that into consideration, but we can double check on that for you.
Yeah,
I-
and you can make something that's clearer as well, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there's a missing dimension, I'll get it added to the plan.
Yeah, just, you know, those little tick marks they typically show between the different.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to add those because you're asking for two things, the common driveway thing, which you've explained very well. And then, of course, we have to deal with the frontage issues, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll get
Yeah.
those added to the plan.
John, I have a question. Could you show on the drawing where the extent of wetlands on lot 2 is?
Sure. Hey, bear with me.
Yes.
Okay, we show now lot 2 on the screen.
Yes.
Wetlands are shown right here. They were flagged by Camp.
Okay. So my question is, don't you need 75% upland to have CBA for this lot?
So the required acreage.
It's based on the required acreage, not 75% of the lot shown.
Correct.
Forgot about that detail. Okay.
Correct. So about half, a little more than half of the proposed 3.18 acres is in fact dry land. So that gets us about 1.5 acres of dry. And I can also see here that frontage for lot 2 is 126 feet. And I assume over here frontage for lot 1 is 120. So the existing frontage is 246 feet.
Thank you. I was forgetting that particular nuance.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, question.
Please go right ahead.
Yeah,
Feel free.
it's probably the hour, but I'm troubled by the access for the new lot. The access for the existing lot, I understand, is reasonable access. You look at, and here you're creating 2 reduced frontage lots, which really bothers me. And I don't see reasonable access through this swampy land to lot 2 being enough reason to cause you to go to a common driveway. I'm just having difficulty wrapping my head around this, and frankly, we may need to get some legal help on this matter anyway.
What does our reduced?
I don't have it in front of me, and
right.
If I tried to get it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, right. So it is correct, the hour. This is similar to the first public hearing where we're just starting a process. John, you're looking to do a site walk, and I presume you're looking to do it sooner rather than later?
As always, yep.
Yeah. So on this one, is there a way to get John something sooner rather than later so that we can get out there and look at it?
So if I may to address
Please.
Brian's
Go ahead.
point, again, I want this thing on the top to go away, so I'm going to hold my cursor still for a minute. I think that's seems to work. So we're trying to avoid constructing a a subdivision road, proposing a subdivision to divide these two lots. If we divide the property in using a subdivision road, we'd probably look to create a total of 3 lots on the property. They would need to be 1 acre each and have 200 feet of frontage. We'd be able to do that. I have a plan that shows that, but this thing will not stop.
Well, in your plan, you have a conventional 2-lot subdivision plan.
We've submitted that as evidence that the property could be divided into 2 lots using a convention, at least 2 lots using a conventional subdivision. So that would effectively provide access to the land here that could be divided into lots similar to this.
Yeah, I will just tell you that on the face of it, that looks like a more sane approach than the other one, but that's, and I know there's more costs involved, but it looks more reasonable to me than seeking 2 reduced frontage lots. And I will say that I still need, I got to look more closely at this at another point in
Right,
time.
exactly.
Well,
So
I've called up, I mean, I could show you the bylaw about, I called up the bylaw, I'm looking at it. But I think what you're talking about, Brian, is the common driveway, right? Where you
Yes.
have to have access.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me,
We've discussed this on a couple other projects, and
yeah,
other projects seem clearer to me than this application, but that may be just me. And I would do reserve the right to have some clarity introduced. So I'm just telling you where I'm at the moment.
Yes, the bylaw states that you have to be able to access the land. There are no physical impediments here. You can walk off Ash Street straight onto the property right now. I don't like the way the bylaw is written. I would agree that it has some it's just poorly written and it's subject to.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I know, but
I know.
this is what we got.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was on the board, we struggled with this a number of times. I remember. I can point you to a recent approval on Crane Neck Road where this exact condition was found to.
That didn't require taking an existing lot and making it a reduced frontage.
It was not a reduced frontage. It was a common drive.
Correct.
Correct. So
And this is requiring to take a conforming lot into a reduced frontage, and the access issue. Like I said, I'm having difficulty in my head wrapping around how that needs to be
so
resolved.
what is the intent of the reduced frontage lots? I mean, I had thought that what the intent is to take very large oversized lots and allow some measure of reduced frontage, but not necessarily, as Brian says, take a lot and be able to create it as both reduced frontage. Is the bylaw
so the
allow?
bylaw allows 2 reduced frontage lots to be side by side.
It does.
It does. The maximum.
It doesn't say it. Yeah, I mean, it implies it.
Yeah, okay. So I know we're gonna end up quibbling about, I mean, quibbling is the wrong word, but yeah, there's things to sort out here. There's conceptual things to sort out here, but it does allow 2 side by side. The other thing is, doesn't it require something on the idea of a 200-foot radius someplace?
Yeah, their radiuses are met on both lots.
I
But
did
are they
see that.
shown on both lots?
I'll find them on here. You're gonna bear with me if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as they're in the documentation supplied, I didn't see them.
Yeah,
I
if,
saw one. I did not see the other one. I think is self-evident.
The other,
Self-evident. Well, I think actually, it should be there whether it's self-evident or not.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
agree.
No,
The
I'm not taking you to task. It's just, I don't want to comment on this, but I've seen the same firm before. So,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, this is the one on lot 2. And you're right, there, it's self-evident on lot 1, but we'll add it to that
Yeah,
as well.
it's got to be there just as,
Yep.
yeah.
and then can I quote, because this does, John, this troubles me as well. It says here, quote, each lot frontage must also provide the possibility of reasonable practical access from the proposed structure or use to the way without using a common driveway. So the question that we have to satisfy ourselves with to approve this is that going through the frontage for your new lot, that it would be reasonable and practical to somehow run a driveway through the wetlands to the new house.
Yes.
And offhand, I need to be convinced of that, because offhand, I don't think that that would be reasonable or practical. Because you would have to somehow, create a berm to put your driveway over. And then you'd probably have to recreate new wetlands to compensate for the wetlands you're wrecking. And so that to me is not reasonable or practical. So that's my homework assignment to you, is to convince me that we can satisfy those words.
Right. You'd have to see it shown, and that would include additional engineering work, correct, Ray?
So we can sketch a driveway in here
Yeah,
where it makes the most sense, and I assume it would be along this line.
okay.
Come in this way, the topography is dead level through here. It's mostly wooded. It would involve a wetlands fill, and it would involve the creation of additional wetlands that we can do in this area right here.
Right. So it'd have to be
Okay,
shown.
if that could be sketched out and throw an engineer stamp on it. Then I would know for sure, and maybe I'm asking you to do too much. I don't know what the other board members think about it. And maybe
No, I think given what
this is a place where maybe Denise has some experience.
Well, one of the things I just wanted to jump in real quick is there was a plan in here, so I just wanted to make sure it was clear. There is a plan in their packet that shows 2 driveways. And I think it was to address that, except the driveway for the other house is on the other lot. So I don't think it satisfies what you're
Right, exactly.
talking about, Ray.
It's
But I
not-
think that plan is in that, this plan that you're showing right now. I think the concept was to say it could access without a common driveway. The problem is that access is not on the lot.
That's right.
It has to cross the new frontage.
Yes,
Yeah, it
so
has
it
to-
doesn't, so I just wanted to be clear that that plan that you're showing on the screen right now does not satisfy
Yeah,
that
exactly. Right.
requirement of what Ray is talking.
I would concur with you, that what Ray is asking for, nor, it doesn't answer what Ray is asking for, nor does it address the requirement. It would
Right.
have to be shown here, it could be graded, and we can show where, where.
Exactly.
we're
Right. So we're all in
filling-
agreement on this point.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
But I would like to make a point. I mean, when I was on the board, we struggled with this whole thing once or twice. And I would advise that the town take a look at clearing up this section here.
Yeah.
If,
It's on our list. Trust us. So to what's existing right now, it seems to me that you do have a task to perform. If you can perform it, you've satisfied one requirement, leaving still then the discussion about what proposal you want to work with. So we're going to continue with this, obviously.
And I do wanna say that I agree with John. The language of reasonable and practicable is.
Yeah,
trumps.
Yeah,
right,
And then the other thing I want to make sure there's no question about, I mean, I can see how it benefits the ecosystem here to have the common driveway for this.
Yep.
But that's not something that I'm questioning.
right.
But I just feel obligated to try to do my best to comply with the bylaw as it's currently written.
Absolutely. So we're all in agreement on that. John, so is there any other point besides the two, one that Brian has raised that we're going to continue discussing, and then, of course, the one that we've just been discussing about complying with what's written, as poorly as it is written? Is there anything else? Or can we start scheduling a site walk?
I think those are the main points that need to be addressed.
Yeah. So is a site walk in our future?
It seems pretty straightforward. I think we should just set it up.
I kind of agree. And this one, if you don't mind, I'd like to see it sooner rather than later. Because I think it'll be helpful. The site walk might help explain why this is actually a beneficial proposal as opposed to just what engineers came up with to make two lots available, not one. So what do you want to do? What do you propose? During the week, weekend, what?
I prefer weekdays.
I do too. Does anybody have problems with doing this on weekdays?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Just
Thank you.
depends on what day.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, isn't that the truth nowadays? I mean, I'll have to check my doctor's calendar, right? So,
It's light at 6:30, guys. I'm sure we can fit
well,
this.
there's that too. So what time of day is preferential? What day of the week is preferential? Can we get it set up now, today?
I'm
I
sure we,
would say for me, I can only begin to be available on September 2nd or 3rd.
Okay, so we're looking at the first week.
I could be even available on the 1st.
Yeah,
I-
no,
Late-
yeah,
later in
but
the-
right. So that September week starting Tuesday, is there availability?
I can't do that Tuesday or Wednesday.
So Monday is still good for you?
Yeah,
You can't do the Tuesday. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this wrong.
I'm going to be away, until midweek.
Yeah, could we do it at the end?
But I don't feel like I need to be on the sidewalk.
Yeah. So, and you can always go out and take a gander yourself if you need be, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So are we talking about Thursday and Friday, Thursday or Friday?
I'm not available Friday. It's Labor Day weekend.
So Thursday,
Right.
Well, could be available Thursday.
what's the date?
3rd, September 3rd, Thursday.
Mhm.
Ann?
I think that's fine, yeah.
I prefer earlier than later.
Me too. By early, I always mean 10 o'clock, but I'm willing to accommodate. We got over the bridge to the Cape at 7:30
Oh, that's a
last
good,
weekend, so
there
I
you
can
go.
do it if need be.
Yeah.
So John, is Thursday the 3rd okay with you?
very good.
And is everybody else good? Do you want to set a time? What time is best?
I'm open.
5 o'clock.
What time?
8:30. 9 o'clock. I don't know.
How about 9 o'clock? Let's do 9 o'clock Thursday the 3rd. Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Very good. Thank you.
And John, you'll get up with and get that other stuff done?
I will.
Great. Anything else we need to discuss tonight?
You just need to continue it.
Right. We do that as a matter of course. So any further discussions on this? We're good. We can then close this up the way we closed up the other one, continue it?
Yes, not close it up. Let's
Right.
have it that way.
So who wants to do?
I'm-
a date certain.
I move to continue this public hearing for 20 Ash Street to Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
It's a public hearing, so you need
I'm
to
sorry.
still open it for comment, which we
Oh,
didn't.
sorry, yes.
Is there anybody in attendance?
There
for
isn't, but I
comment?
just wanted to make sure it was said.
Oh,
Okay.
no, we've still got a lot of people here.
Do we? Okay, so Ray, do the MC.
Yeah, if anybody wants to speak, you can unmute, and it'd be even better if you raised your hand, but
Doing both if you can.
I'm seeing everybody staying muted.
Okay. Thank you, Denise.
Oh, wait, no, we've
Oh,
got Christine
oh.
Kane just raised her hand.
Okay,
Christine,
go ahead.
you'll have to, there we go.
Hi, I just was wondering, what is the frontage requirement? So if this house lot has the proper frontage, what are they seeking to reduce it, I guess? Does that make sense?
Yes, it's a good question. It's
So in our bylaw, there's a provision through this process to, for an applicant to request a smaller frontage than is generally required in the district. And that's what's happening.
What is it for this district, Ray? Do you recall?
200 feet. It's
Go ahead.
somewhat, if I may, it's somewhat questionable. The frontage in the area, the frontage is actually in the RC district.
Residential C.
Right, which requires 150 feet per lot. The remaining land is in the RB district, which requires 200 feet per lot.
where's the RB?
Most of
The
it.
bulk of the lot is in RB.
Right,
Right.
but the frontage itself is in RC.
Doesn't
Right,
matter.
but it's governed by the majority of.
So it's
Majority.
RB that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So it requires 200. Currently, it has how much, John? Again,
You can create a lot in the RB district with 200 feet of frontage and 1 acre of land. Or you, by special permit, can create a lot in the RB district with 100 feet of frontage and 2 acres of land. And that's what we're applying for,
Right.
is a special permit to create a lot that has about half of the otherwise required frontage, but double the required acreage.
right.
Hopefully that answers your question, Christine.
The total frontage, John, on the application is 246.78. Does that sound right?
Correct.
Currently for the current lot. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to be requesting to have 2 reduced frontage lots.
That's right.
Right. Each above 100 feet.
And
Okay.
therefore each with a higher minimum lot area.
Right. Exactly. Right. Above
And this,
100.
for anybody that wants, this is table 5.2 of the Town of West Newbury bylaws. But Christine Kane is still here, so.
I'm still like trying to figure it out in my head. So it's weird. It's 2 different districts. So what do you go by? Like it's
Yeah, Christine, you've tapped into one of my little pet peeves. Our residential districts do not correspond with existing lot lines. They slice through them. And so we do occasionally run into this situation.
But to answer her question specifically, you go with where the preponderance of the acreage is. That means it puts it into RB, which means it's more frontage required. So it's going.
The
Correct?
preponderance of the acreage of the lot that you're creating.
Yeah. But the point is we're going to the higher level, not the lower
Right.
level. Okay, so.
And then,
so
Go ahead, Denise.
the existing lot frontage is 240 something, right? And so with 2 lots, it would require 400 feet of frontage.
if they weren't asking for special permission.
If they weren't asking, but yeah, like if they weren't asking for a special permit, that would be 200 feet of frontage. With the special permit, they're asking for a reduction of, what is that?
80 feet per lot.
They can reduce it to 100 feet per lot per our bylaw section 5.2 of our bylaw.
Right.
Okay.
So this is a proper request,
Okay.
and the higher level is being applied.
Okay.
So anything else from anybody on this matter? And we are continuing this, so there will be again a second bite of the apple. We'll be doing a site walk, which will be posted, announced, and beyond that, I'm not quite sure we have any other.
And just to be clear for Christine, the public can attend site walks.
Okay. Thank you, Ray.
And they'll be announced, it'll be posted, and you'll be able to count on that other absent a rain event, I would guess. So anything else before I ask whether we can go to continuing this?
Oh, and yeah, real quick, on site walks, just so Christine knows and other people knows, since all the planning board members are there, we cannot discuss things. We can just observe things.
But you can ask questions.
We can ask questions of the developer. We just can't have a discussion about whether we like it or issues or anything like that. That would be for public meeting, not for a site walk.
Right, exactly. Thank you,
I
Ray.
got that right, Denise? Yes, she says yes.
It's no deliberation.
No
That's right.
deliberation. It's just a site walk. With that as a reminder,
Oh, wait, we've got Lisa Forbush dash somebody that it's missing. Oh, Umholtz.
That's me. That's me.
Hello.
Lisa Forbush, I'm High, 150 Middle Street. What was the total acreage of the whole parcel?
Approximately
Before
10
divided?
acres. Approximately
much?
10 acres.
10 acres. And was that ever in any kind of restriction?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Okay. And this is the parcel that's abutting what was Whitegate Farm?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yes. And so because it wasn't under any kind of restriction, as far as like a farming restriction, the town didn't have any kind of right of refusal to buy this
This
property.
This lot was created like 30 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
This is
A-
quite, it has
and
been in
it's-
existence for a long time.
And so the house that is currently there, the way that I've seen it is like it's a hill, it's a slope that goes up.
Yeah.
And so the house that is up there would be taken down and a new house would be
No.
put up?
No.
No,
No, no, no.
that house would remain.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is the second lot that would be next to it.
right.
Up front.
In front of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a little sort of sectioned off parcel that's right along the side of the road. What is that? I'm not sure what that is.
There is not another parcel created, just 2 lots created.
Okay.
Nothing, effectively nothing changes.
Okay.
The road stays where it is.
The existing lot is listed as 10.23 acres, and the existing house was built in 1992.
Okay. So that land was never used as part of the Christmas tree farm.
Pardon. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
That
Okay.
land was sold or transferred to a relative of Patricia Kelly's,
Mm-hmm. I remember that, yeah.
a fellow named Jack or John Travers. And
Who passed away, I think.
yes, and many
Yeah.
number of years ago. Sadly,
Yeah.
many years ago. We should note the planning board members have seen a letter from Patricia Kelly in opposition of this. I don't know if you want to read it tonight or discuss it.
Sure. So since we're going to continue doing the meeting tonight, why don't we go over that letter? Jen, you've got that right? I'm looking at Brian.
She does.
Great.
Yes. It was her brother.
Yes, was Pat's brother.
Yes, yeah, that was, yeah, nice guy. I guess my only question with this, I understand what she writes, but was there some other legal documentation issued that anyone knows about, or that put those wishes in mind? She claims that the Bruces were aware that it was meant to be one lot.
Well, okay. So John, do you have clear title?
I have found no encumbrances related to any type of restriction in that regard.
So Brian, it would be up to someone else then to produce a recorded document.
Yes, I was looking for Mr. Sarkis's response.
Right.
Right,
So,
I think-
and again, John, you've cleared title.
Yes, to the best of my knowledge, I cannot find any recorded restrictions on use or further development.
So as we go through the process, this is just basically a reminder to anyone who might know of something that we need to know of, that we'd have to see it and it'd have to be recorded and binding. So
Right.
Would it be the right thing to reach out to Ms. Kelly and see if she has anything in her records?
It would be up to her to come forward if
yeah,
she
I mean,
offer, I think.
she should have and would have been best advised to have disclosed that there's something that exists. It sounds like she's talking more about some internal discussion that went on between private parties back in the past. So again, we can't hold up a proper application from an owner of land, and it's not up to us to do the research, and it would be up to someone who knows differently to come forward. I doubt very much, John, that when you did your title search, it neglected any recordings. You would have been looking for all recordings.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Furthermore, restrictions like that typically only last 30 years in Massachusetts.
Well, depends on the restriction. So
It does, but
Yeah.
almost most of them
Yeah.
expire in 30 years.
Yeah.
Rob, let me just make one other point. The sort of flip side of the comment that was just made. Likewise, for people who intend to make sure that something stays the way it is, you need a legal document that is duly recorded so
Right.
that you make sure that your wishes are carried into the future. It's conceivable, for example, that the reduced frontage provision wasn't even in the local bylaw at the time this was done. We don't know. We just have to work with what comes before us and with the laws in place at the time.
Right. So here we are.
All right, is it time to move on?
Again, we're just continuing it, so
All right,
there's always a second bite of the apple.
right. I didn't want to step on anybody's lines if there were other butters.
No, I'd prefer.
But hearing none, I will make a motion to continue the public hearing for 20 Ash Street to Tuesday, September 8th. We've already got one at 7:15. Do we want to put a time certain or do we want to put an
I
early
would prefer we do it exactly the way we did it for this meeting, which is
Same time?
we open it at the time certain, but the second one is
Okay.
dependent upon when we close the first one or when we continue the first one.
All right, so that I'll continue my motion to say on Tuesday, September 8th at 7:15 PM.
Second.
Okay, everybody good with this motion?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
I think we all are.
Yeah, I need positive,
You vote for Ray
you know,
and
so Ann Bardine says aye.
I say
heard
aye.
that one.
Ray
Yeah.
Cook, aye.
Hamilton, I.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Rob Phillips, aye. Okay. So we're good to move along?
Yes.
Okay. What's left on the agenda?
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Good
Thank you,
job.
John.
John, good night.
Good night, guys.
We've already been through all the general business, haven't we?
Yep, there's no, there's no correspondence to go over.
Right. The only thing that was open was board member comments.
Wait.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty open.
Yeah. Yeah. So hearing none, and Jen having said there's no correspondence, placement of items of future planning board agendas.
Done that.
Done that.
So we good?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Move we adjourn,
Second,
10 o'clock.
Okay, so Ann Bardine,
Aye.
aye.
Ray Cook, aye.
Deb Hamilton, I.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Rob Phillips, aye. Thank you very much.